curriculum definition, principles, modern trends and organizational approaches, curriculum reforms, and NCF and KCF. NCF and KCF has already been discussed. You can check out my class on NCF and KCF. So the next is curriculum. Okay. So curriculum is the total structure of ideas and activities developed by an educational institution to meet the learning needs of the students and to achieve decreed educational aims. So it is a definition. Curriculum is a tool in the hands of the artist to mold his material in accordance with his ideals in his studio. It was said by Cunningham. So curriculum, the word curriculum is derived from the Latin word curre, which means race course or runaway. So which one takes you to reach a goal? Thus curriculum is it's a program through which pupils achieve their goals. Then you should know about this difference between curriculum and syllabus. Syllabus is included inside curriculum. So syllabus is only verbal book oriented and theoretical. It is much more specific. Speaking of the defects of the study, the hierarchical order of presenting the content. And curriculum should be considered as a broad-based term, encompassing every aspect of concerning course of study. It includes various, funds of curricular and co-curricular activities. In short, all learning experiences that would lead the learner to the anticipated goal comes under curriculum. So the four important concepts of components in curricular construction are objectives, content or learning material, teaching learning strategies, and evaluation processes. So the functions of curriculum is that synthesis of subjects of study and life. The primary aim of curriculum is to provide the educants those subjects of study which will enable them to bridge the gap between school life and life outside the school. Second is acquisition and strengthening of knowledge, and it is a very important function of curriculum. Third one is complete development, the overall development of the student, physical, mental, social, moral, religious, spiritual development. And fourth is the development of democratic values. It's another important function to develop the values of equality, liberty, and fraternity. Then fifth one is satisfaction of educants' needs. There will be different interests, skills, abilities, attitudes, and aptitude to students, and the curriculum should satisfy all these multi-phase needs and requirements of the educand. And the sixth one is realization of the values. It is the ultimate aim of education to develop, in order for the development of a character, who that person should become in the future. So the curriculum enables the educand build up a describable, Next is harmony between individual and society. The success of democracy depends on the efficiency of individuals as revealed with the personal life as well as the social life. Then the foundations of a curriculum development is based on philosophical, sociological, psychological foundations. And when we come to this philosophical foundation, it determines the aims of its, from different philosophies like idealism, naturalism, pragmatism, realism, etc. So these differences will be definitely, it will be reflected on the educational system and the curriculum also. Then sociological foundation means, the needs of the society should be considered and also the learner. We cannot avoid the learner's needs. Then psychological foundation is all about that development of the student. mentally. The psychology of the learners should be shaped. It's according to the psychology of the learners, a curriculum should be developed. So there are different types of curriculum: traditional or subject-centered, activity-centered, child-centered, experience-centered, and undifferentiated curriculum. So now we have to discuss about the principles of curriculum construction, that is principle of child-centeredness, principle of community-centeredness, principle of activity-centeredness, principle of integration. That means experiences inside and outside should be integrated. So it's like a watertight compartment. Then principle of forward-looking principle, conservative principle. The traditions and traditions and culture of human race should be given importance. Then renewal principle. It's all about, the curriculum should be flexible. When time passes, there will be changes. That's definite. So it should be flexible. Then creative principle. It enables, to modify the environment, according to the needs of time. Then there should be motivation principle, maturity principle, principle of preparation for life, principle of elasticity and flexibility, then principle of comprehensiveness. There are a variety of subjects, so everything should be included in the curriculum. Then principle of balance. There should be proper balance between the direct and indirect experience. And principle of utility. It should be practicable. So there are different approaches to curriculum. So these approaches are concentric approach. Concentric approach means the maximum of teaching should be from whole to part, from simple to complex, and from easy to difficult. It deals with the Bruner's meaningful learning. Discovery learning is also possible. Then the next is spiral approach. That means there should be a gradation. There should be a linkage from the new topic with the prior topic. So that chain should not be broken. So that's like, spiral. It goes on. Then psychological and logical approaches. So it should be according to the psychological needs, potentialities, and capabilities. Then topical and unit approach. The curriculum should be structured in such a way that it should be systematic and sequential. There will be units, and there inside every unit there will be chapters. So like that, and all these, each unit will have each theme or topic or subject to deal with. Just like that. It should be in a structured manner. Then there is another curriculum called this language curriculum. And there will be many factors, individual and developmental differences, research findings and social change, flexibility and coherence or clarity. So languages should also be given importance. Then about the selection of content. It's according to the abilities, linguistic background, needs, interest, and individual and environmental variables. The students, curriculum should be structured in such a way that it will help to develop different skills. And the teacher also should be a professional expertise in dealing with different individuals. And different opportunities should be provided for the children to think, to express, to listen. And materials and other facilities should be available. And it should be presented systematically with a time schedule. And the learning experience should be in a learner-centered manner. The curriculum, social and environmental background, which will be connected or which should be connected to the real life. So teacher in English is a teacher of English. So teaching becomes interdisciplinary also. Okay, so that's about again, this is about the principles of curriculum construction. We have already told about these principles: child-centeredness, flexibility, variety, correlation. That means every subject should be, of course they will have some relation to other subjects. That's all about the principle of correlation. Principle of integration, then principle of community service. That means the modern curriculum should be related to community life. The needs and conditions of the community should determine the nature and content of curriculum. Then principle of values. There are a number of values: social, morals, spiritual, democratic and aesthetic. Principle of totality. It is a totality of learning experiences. Other than classroom, there should be library, laboratory, workshop, playground, and there should be a relationship between the students and the teacher, so that the students will have a touch with every kind of things in life. Then principle of activity centeredness. The purposeful activities both in classroom and outside the classroom should be concentrated according to the behavioral changes, according to the individual interests. Then principle of conservation, to preserve and transmit our cultural heritage according to the elements of culture. The culture, our education is related to our culture itself, and it leads to the development of students. Then principle of creativity. It's very important that every child have some kind of powers or creative talents will be there. So the curriculum should be in such a way to develop those creativity. Then principle of forward looking, to cater the present needs. It's not only about the present needs of the child but also the future life. Curriculum should include knowledge, skills, experience, influences, principle of balance, principle of utility. That means the curriculum must have practical utility for students. So there should be some provision for technical and vocational education in the curriculum. Regional and national conditions should also be considered. Now, in the types of curriculum organization, we have traditional curriculum patterns, integrative curriculum patterns, and unified program. Traditional means subject curriculum. First one is subject curriculum. That means the school subjects constitute basis for organizing the school experience of the learners. Then correlated curriculum means there will be a relationship between two or more subjects. Subject curriculum will be based on only the subjects that are selected by the school itself. Then correlated curriculum means there will be more than two subjects. More topics will be discussed of similar kind for the better understanding of these topics. Then broad feed curriculum means it's like a compartment. Everything will be stuffed into it, combining several specific areas to larger fields. And the integrative curriculum is all about learners' experience, interest, needs, abilities, major functions of social life, normal activities. So, of course, it will be learner-centered. Learners' experience and every activities will be concentrated. Then experience curriculum. It emphasizes on the immediate felt needs of learners and interest. Then core curriculum means social functions or areas of living curriculum. The learners will study problems that are both personal and social in the contemporary world. And the unified program is there should be a balance between extremes in educational theory and educational practice. Everything will be incorporated in this unified program. So that's about this curriculum organization. So now you know the difference between curriculum and syllabus. Curriculum is something very broad. It has both, experiences of classroom and also outside the classroom. Syllabus is a specification of the work of particular department, especially schools and students. Curriculum is just like a life process. Definitely you can go through these curriculum, the difference between curriculum and syllabus, but syllabus is not at all needed. There is only about curriculum on the syllabus. Language curriculum. As we already said, there are basic principles for this language curriculum design, that is the coherence, and there should be this permanent change and innovation. There should be flexibility and different approaches should be tried out. Language curriculum is not that much important. The major things have already been discussed now. Now the next topic is instructional resources, laboratory, library, club, museum, visual and audio-visual aids, community-based resources, e-resources, textbook, workbook and handbook. Okay, you know what textbook is. It's all about the course book. Course book gives logically arranged learning materials, and also it helps a teacher to proceed step by step. It provides a variety of exercises. It ensures higher tasks for higher classes, and also the course book meet individual differences among learners to an extent. So the criteria of a good course book is that there will be many learning items like essays, poems, short stories, and there will be a subject matter to the mental level of the learners. There will be proportion, in selecting the items there should be a proportion, and an arrangement also should be proper. Vocabulary, give importance to vocabularies, new words also, so there should be a proper selection and grade vocabulary items. Then coming to structure, it should be properly selected and graded structural items should be included. And the style should be according to the need and mental level of students. Illustrations is very important because a good picture is worth more than 1000 words. Exercises of different types should be included to meet individual differences, and the printing also should be good, of good quality. Good color printing is more preferable when coming to lower classes. Then the binding should be strong, so that because the students have that book throughout the year, so the paper quality should also be good and attractive. So that is all about textbook. And coming to the workbook is that there will be lot of activities and exercises in workbook, and handbook is helpful for teachers, how to move from one activity to another, how to give proper instructions, what all things should be included, what things should be excluded. So the main aims and objectives will be discussed in handbook, and the teacher can prepare in that way, how to plan beforehand. So many resources are available nowadays. The knowledge is in our fingertips, so it's easy for us. And there are also many community based resources now. There are many groups, online forums are available now for the teaching learning process. And about the visual and audiovisual aids, we have already I have already made a class on it. You can go and check it out. Then museum is all about the preservation of our culture, our tradition, whatever we have, whatever we got, the evolution of man can be seen in our museums. So it's very important for our development of our intellect, especially for students. And coming to clubs, there are many different types of clubs of subject oriented and other social and communities also. So these English institutes and library, laboratory, also all these instructional resources have a great role in students' teaching learning process, because they will get proper training. They can develop their creativity, found new learning strategies and tricks that will lessen their burden. So these libraries are also very important. We will get many sources from different libraries: audiobooks, multilingual books, language reference books, resources, audiobooks, and available now in net, plenty of them. Then CD-ROM, another way of, it's a kind of traditional concept actually, the library itself. Actually, we have e-libraries now. Everything is turning into e-format. So all these are kind of instructional resources